Well, and he disappears.
I am here.
Oh, timing. Absolutely perfect bloody timing. Goes ping and Ian buggers off. Mommy! Evening sound.
I put his claw down and it went under the bloody drawers. I couldn't get at it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, good evening, folks. Expect me to be in a daydream today.
Evening Pulsar. Yes, he may come and go tonight. It all depends.
Yeah.
He's got a Thor bit, and I'm not going to tell you where he's got a Thor bit.
Yeah. If I do that, it will give you a clue. It's a good job I'm in I can do things like that. Yeah, I think I've had a bit of a mouth thing. Am I feeling better? A little bit, but I'm high as a kite.
Not as high as whenever you had your hand surgery, but that's another story.
That's another story. No, because of the
evening, Jason.
Good evening, Jason. Because of the Bell's palsy, there was a few things. So I made a phone call to doctor, and I had to have an antibiotic. I've had a strong antibiotic in one big dose.
Yeah. You've had a double dose in one.
Yeah. So I'm a bit. He said I'll be a bit drowsy, but they just want to make sure I don't get in an infection. Good afternoon, Nick.
Afternoon, Mick.
Well, it's been a busy old week, Too shy of 5,000 views this week.
Hey, I didn't look at that earlier. Oh, well done.
4,998.
Oh, well done. Definitely well done. That's good.
Yeah, and 17 new subscribers this week.
Hey, ooh, that's good numbers.
That's good numbers. So what you've been watching? Well, at number 3, the surprise birthday top 10 that I did on my old mate Neil.
Oh, that was a good top 10, actually.
It was a good top 10 from 1971. 72 people. And I have chatted with him, and he said to me, he says, "Oh, would you like to go and see Fish in Aylesbury on his last tour?" I said, "Is the Pope Catholic?"
No.
And he replied back, "Good job you said that, because I've already got your ticket."
Oh dear. Because believe it or not, there are 2 people who are referred to as the Pope, but only one has the correct title, the Pope, and he's not Catholic.
So
anyway.
Yeah, so I'm off to see Fish in Aylesbury. He just thought it'd be the most apt place to see Fish in Aylesbury. So yeah, number 2 with 98 views, and I'm so pleased because this band does not get enough love, and it's the retro ranking I did on Sad Cafe. Good evening, Mike. 98 people.
Yes,
there are 98 fans of Sad Cafe out there. They are a good band.
Well, 98 and 1 minus, because some idiot put a thumbs down on that.
That's a bit rude, isn't it?
I know.
Top, though, is the 1980s synth pop with Richard 181, and we will be doing another one at some stage.
Yeah, you'll get to see a picture tonight.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Top short, though. I only put it out, was it Monday? I think it was Monday. Status Quo's Rocking All Over the World album, 910 people. Oh, thank you, Jason. It was a lot. A lot of fun. The 28 days, the last month, 16,371 peeps. 33 new subscribers last month. What you've been watching? Well, at number 3, Glitter Band, still doing well.
Hey.
Yeah, at 64. At number 2 is the Synth Pop with Richard, 181. But at the top of the pile, Bad Beatles songs, 312. I know.
And amazingly, you haven't had the wrath.
I haven't. I really haven't.
We expected the wrath of all and sundry to come descending upon you, and you haven't had it.
I haven't had it. So what? Since we started, and this actually shocked Neil when I was chatting to him. He went, "Come again."
Yeah.
Because when he said, "How many people have watched your channel then?" So I said, "Well, round about 377,904. I won't say what he put because it's a bit rude and it's not past the watershed.
Bleep,
And
bleep,
we've now, and now we've got 1,757 subscribers.
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you all. It's been good. So what's happening? Well, at number 3, and pulling away from Derek Riggs, Jethro Tull at 4,143, and Derek Riggs is only on 4,126. Slade is still at number 2 with 4,903, and of course Status Quo 9,039.
Oh, crikey. Double spots in second. No, he didn't say that, Jason. He said something else, and it was bleep 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 bleep.
I was Mr. Spock that put it. Colourful metaphors.
Yes.
The top short is still Jean-Michel Jarre, and if you notice, there is. I have put up a little teaser this afternoon.
I know. So, guess what I'm watching this weekend?
Yes. So and that's there's the actual album Oxygen is still at 2,786. So what have I been listening to? I'm getting through an awful lot this week because I did some prep work on Saturday, so I've had more time to listen to stuff this week. And good job, really, because I've not been that brilliant again. I'm fed up and not feeling well. I had enough of that. So the Guess Who, I've done 16 of the albums, so we're near enough finished the Guess Who. But we're at that stage where which part of Guess Who are we listening to? Because there's so many squabbles of who knows the name and all sorts, which I'll explain when we do the Guess Who. Half Man, Half Hobnob, as Dave calls it now. 12 of 15. Steel Eye Span, 20 of the 24. Now, I've got some new ones in this week. And the first one in it is the solo stuff of Mr. John Anderson. And I've already listened to one. Also, I've listened to one of Utopia. But I haven't listened to any Pearl Jam yet. Nor have I listened to some Deer Hoof or Mott the Hoople. Well, I have listened to Mott the Hoople, but not to do this. But I have completed Nas, Todd Rundgren, and Wilco.
And the less said about the second of those.
Yes. That was an interesting one. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the recipient of the in-house joke isn't going to be up tonight.
So, so that's what I've been listening to. And I've listened to other stuff as well, of course.
Oh, I nearly forgot to open something. Hang on. Panic.
Well, it's probably because it will be time for the hatches, the matches, and the dispatches. So someone's heading towards the door. You can see.
Yes, he wants to go and investigate the bush.
Investigate the bush. So while I do that, Dave will do hatches, matches, and dispatches.
Okay, okay. Right. Dispatches this week. We have 8. So on the 1st of July, we lost Laurie Lindeen. She's an American musician, or she was an American musician and author, and she was part of a group called Zuzu's Petals. On the 2nd, we lost Tom Fowler, an American psychedelic rock bassist from the Mothers of Invention. The 3rd, Mark Giamino, American folk rock singer-songwriter, left us. And then on the 5th, Liana Ishkadze, a Georgian classical violinist. Her death was announced. 6th, Pino D'Angelo, an Italian Italo disco singer-songwriter, apparently was very popular in the 70s and 80s, passed away. And Iain didn't know this one. I think it caught an awful lot of people by surprise. Joe Egan, the Scottish folk rock singer-songwriter and guitarist from Steelers Wheel, passed away. The 8th, Adrian Olivares, a Mexican pop singer. He, at one stage, was with the boy band Menudo. And they have had some people go through. They're one of the biggest pop bands in South America. They're huge. Anyway, Adrian Olivares and Pavel Zeleny, a Slovak swing composer, also departed. And then on the 9th, Joe Bonsall, an American country and gospel singer with the Oak Ridge Boys. So those are our dispatches. Hatches today, we've got 18 plus 2. And I was surprised that Iain didn't mention a certain celebrity birthday that occurs today. So we'll catch up with that at the end. First off, youngest today at 28 is Alessia Caracciolo. She's known professionally as Alessia Cara. She's a Canadian singer and songwriter. 37 is Shigeaki Kato, a Japanese J-pop singer, guitarist, and songwriter with the band or the group Muse. 49 today is Samar El Nahal. He's a Finnish heavy metal bassist, but we know him better as Ox. I used to play with Lordi from 2005 to 2019. 50 today is American rapper Lil Kim. 58 today is Melanie Appleby, English pop singer. We know her as Mel of Mel and Kim. 59 today is Scott Schreiner, American rock bassist with Weezer. And then we jump up to 65 today. And Iain was slightly floored by this one, or by 2. Firstly, Richie Sambora, American rock guitarist and songwriter with Bon Jovi from 83 to 2018. 65, he's collecting his bus pass today. As is Suzanne Vega, the American folk rock singer-songwriter. 66 today is Ray Dodds, former drummer and record producer, drummer, of course, for Fairground Attraction. 67 today, and Iain did get this one, is Peter Murphy. He's known as the godfather of goth. He's the English lead singer and musician with Bauhaus.
I should know because he's from my town.
Exactly. Also 67 is Michael Rose. He's a Jamaican Grammy Award-winning reggae singer, and he was with the group Black Uhura from 77 to 84. 71 today is Peter Brown, American funk and disco singer. His best hit was Do You Want to Get Funky With Me? He was a record producer, but he was also a songwriter, and he co-wrote Material Girl for Madonna. Also 71 is Benny DeFranco, Canadian pop guitarist with the DeFranco family. 75 today is Leona Maria Carolyn Boyd. She's a Canadian classical guitarist and apparently is often referred to as the First Lady of the Guitar. 77 today is Jeff Hanna, an American country music singer. He used to be in the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Remember them? Also 77 is Francine Reed. She's an American blues and jazz singer. She was notable for singing with Lyle Lovett and his band. 81 today is a gentleman, Oscar de Leon. He's affectionately known as the Pharaoh of Salsa or the Lion of Salsa. He's a Venezuelan musician and bassist known for his salsa music. And granddad today is 97-year-old Herbert Blomstedt, Swedish conductor with the Dresdner Staatskapelle and the San Francisco Symphony. Now, the +2, and this is one that surprised Iain. 64 today is Craig Charles, English actor, also a DJ on Radio 2. But the reason we include him, not just because he's a celebrity, but in Red Dwarf, his character, Dave Lister, was the lead singer of Smeg and the Heads. And that was their hit single after Dave time traveled back and bought 30 million copies of the single and made himself fabulously rich, which was a giggle of a show. But also on this day in 1987, which means he's 37 years old today, is Mate Gaspar. He was a Croatian baby, and he was designated by the UN as the 5 billionth person in the world. We thought that was an interesting fact, and you'd like that.
No, he's not dead. It's his birthday.
Matches, the notable marriages. Well, we picked out 5. There's only 3 musical ones. So 1877, scientist and inventor Alexander Graham Bell married Mabel Hubbard. They got married.
Said the very first hello. Sorry. Alexander Graham. Sorry, I'm going.
You go and loopy.
Yeah.
1937, the Welsh poet and writer Dylan Thomas married dancer Caitlin McNamara. They got married in Penzance in Cornwall. In 76, British pop singer Andy Gibb, he was only 18. He married Kim Reeder. She was only 18. They got married in Australia. Unfortunately, they also got divorced 3 years later in 79. And then in 2015, singer Peter Andre married his second wife, Emily McDonough. We won't mention his first wife, despite all her points. Anyway, today's talking point, memorable singles. Singles that mean something. They come with a memory. Every time you hear it, it triggers a memory. The usual caveat, maximum of 10 in any format, because you can have single CDs and single mini discs. So there's your hatches, matches, dispatches. And while I close that and clear up, let's have a look. Craig Chubb. No, he's not. It's his birthday. He's 64. Good evening, Marius. Who else is he? Oh, Stevie's made it in. Good evening, Stevie. Found some Wi-Fi. Yeah. Good-o. Who else? Don't see. Okay. I'm sort of caught up, I think. Yes. Okay. If you're ready.
I am ready.
We shall add that to the stage and we shall make it full screen. Off you go.
Right, this is what's going to be happening next week, but it all depends if I'm feeling all right. Yeah. Okay. Monday, busy day Monday. We have reached the final part of Rod Stewart's story, and we're going to look at the 2010s and 20s albums that he put out in this period. So we're going right up to date. Also, we've got a great perfect side. The Move and Shazam. Now, as you can see, it says Sheet Music Birthday Top 10. Now, I'll let Dave explain this one.
All right. This is, I have a distant cousin living just outside Boston, Massachusetts, and it's her partner, Mary's birthday. And as you can see, Pulsar, she's born in 1950.
Someone older than you, mate. Yes.
Yeah. So the charts didn't exist back then, per se. There were various charts. You had the radio station charts, you had jukebox charts, you had sheet music charts. There were all sorts. So the one we could find was sheet music. So this is a rather special one for a relative of mine. Thank you very much for doing it, Ian.
That's no problem. Anyway, that's Monday dealt with. Tuesday's going to be a great day, because I'm going to rank the albums of The Doors, who I love. And another artist that I love, and I'm going to do the retro ranking on him, Paul Simon, top 10 songs.
That's going to be, that could be contentious.
Yes. Wow. I like
because
this.
I'm assuming that this has to be without art.
It's all without art. Yes.
Which is going to make life interesting. But anyway.
Next week's marathon is, we're going to do some reggae. Probably one of the greatest reggae artists. We're going to do some Bob Marley and the Wailers. Yes, they're all being included, Seb. I don't, you know me, I don't do anything by halves, and I've checked everything this week, as I always do. Not having a dig, but it was a little conversation, and we finally sorted it out. Yes, of course, I'm going to do them all. So that's what we're doing on Wednesday. Thursday, have we got a good sophomore drone for us? We have got Depeche Mode against Talk Talk. That'll be a good one. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, because it's before The Colour of Spring.
It is. It was the album before it.
Yeah.
It's My Life. And we've got Pick and Mix, and it's in the camera's view. And we've got, this is a request. And we're going to look at the Van Morrison live at Montreux, not just from 1980.
It's a double.
It's a double whammy because we've got 1974 as well. Okay, Friday, a live album ranking of Chrome. Yes, which has been absolutely bonkers, but enjoyable. And then we've got a brand new album from Mr. Big. And it's their 10th album, so they've come up with a really unique name for it. 10. And then,
at least it was not 10 not out.
Yes. And then that means
here we go.
On the Saturday, Ian and Richard are doing something, and this is what we're doing. We're doing a summer theme thing. What we want a summer theme? We've got summertime, vacation, holiday, anything to do with sun. And the only reason Richard's got the knotted hanky is because it didn't fit on my picture, on my head. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's happening next week, anyway. But of course, if I, it depends how I'm feeling. Depends how if this ulcer goes, because you know what it's like. I'd have to lose my tongue before I think. These thumbnails are getting worse. I know.
Richard, he looks like the Shaker Control Raid. Love it.
Yeah, sorry, Richard. I will explain when you come up. So there we go. That's next week. We'll get rid of that, shall we?
Okay.
Anyway, it's time to find out if you've pulled one back in the little competition between me and the Obscurians.
Well, let's see. In the live chat, it was 8-14. In the community, it was 7-10. And you win again. 15 to Ramones, 24 to the Clash.
Oh.
So you're 4-0.
Oh.
And let's have a quick look. I actually need to switch.
Yes. Anyway, while Dave's doing that, I had something appear in the post this week, and I thought, I haven't ordered anything. Then I looked at the handwriting on the thing, and I thought, I know where this has come from. Good evening, Simon. And it come from Leeds. So thank you very much, Mike. I'm going to show what you did. I'm going to make myself big. There we go. And he sent me, because he said he'd got 2 copies. I've now got a copy, and you can see that. Lena Ludwig, Lucky Numbers on the Slip Records. And he also sent me, because he went to a charity shop and he found the remix of Status Quo's Can't Give You More off the Rock the Drop version. So thank you very much, Mike. I'll get that up. Thank you very much. So I'll make myself as small again and bring in. Good evening. You had the naughty.
That's not a hanky. So that's something from the distant ancient past. That I was expecting a pyramid behind me or something.
Did you like your shirt though?
Well, that was lovely. Put it this way, it was better than the mullet you gave me the last time.
Yeah.
So it was, which wasn't too far away from my 1980s hairstyle whenever I had hair either. So.
So did you have a hairstyle like that though in 1981?
It was curlier, but it was massive on top. But even in those days, I knew I was going bald, so it was. But yeah, well.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that one. As I said in the thing, we are going to do another one, aren't we, at some stage? Because there is so much we could have put in.
How have you got on with the other one?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
So am I. I had a look at it today, actually, and I've got about 15 so far. I'll probably add to it and then chop it down. Is there, just while I'm here, is there any chance we could do that at 10 o'clock next week rather than 11?
Oh, I think we can get up an hour early for you, yes.
You're usually on at 10:30 anyway, pottering about.
I forget, I just put it on and Richard sits there watching me coming in and out.
Oh, I know, and I keep shouting at you as well. You, I'm here.
No, he gets fixated.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of times I've come in early and I'm sitting here listening to loud music, and no, he's pottering around. Rocky comes in and hello, you're there. Okay, I'll go and tell him.
Here, I have to say, next week is pretty good in your channel. I'm pretty impressed with some of the things that are on. The Perfect Side, that's a good one, because side 1 of Shazam is all cover versions, and side 2 is all originals, or it's the other way around. It's one or the other. And yeah, I don't know the difference, or I wouldn't be able to pick because they're both brilliant. So that is a good one.
I've been listening to it all week, and I still haven't made up my mind. I can see that one be doing lastminute.com.
Whenever you're doing the video, are you going to comment on some of the little narratives in there and put on a Birmingham accent?
I can't do a Birmingham accent.
Well, I'll tell you something else. Dave can't do a Welsh one either from tonight, what I've heard. It's terrible.
I was doing an impersonation of Tom Jones trying to remember how to be a Welshman.
Is that right? Just do the cough and that's the Tom Jones accent.
Yes. I think next week, sophomore drome's going to be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I only know one of those albums, believe it or not, and it's the Depeche Mode one, and it is pretty good. So it is, and that's the one with The Meaning of Love on it that was in my list at the weekend.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah. So, what's it? You're doing the Doors as well, which is okay. Bob Marley, I'm looking forward to that one. I take it you're going to count the really, really early ones before he was an island. There was about 2 or 3 of them.
Well, I'm going back to 19. When the Wailers, I'm going to start at.
By the way, you don't have to do an impression of the Fonz either. Like,
hey. That was a terrible impression. The other day, didn't I?
It was dreadful considering I showed you a picture of the Fonz down in Dublin.
Yes, you did.
Right. Oh my God, I've been down in Dublin and he was just a normal person that they interviewed, wasn't it? Oh my God!
Well, his hotel got evacuated.
That's correct.
The fire alarm went off, and he's standing down on the pavement and just walked across and said thank you to the fire crews. And they're all going, yeah. I know you.
He's such a nice fellow, that man. Henry Winkler, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolute gent.
Of course, it had our favourite person from Detroit in that series as well, didn't it?
Yes. Well, what was her name?
I can't remember.
Jane?
No, I can't remember either. Oh, gosh, I know as well, too. Oh, it'll come to me at some stage. So I'll be interrupting somebody tonight and just shouting it out. Go on, Dave, on the wiki and find out who it is quickly.
Hang on, Simon said about 90s number one. Oh, yes. No, I know what he says. Well, why don't you put the message in or come up and tell him yourself?
Oh, are you thinking of Kirstie Alley?
No. She was in Happy Days.
And
wasn't it something leather? Something leather.
Leather Tuscadale or something like that.
Yeah, it has something to do with it.
It's triggered the wrong one.
Leather Tuscadale or leather.
Something like that. While he's doing that, anyway, I watched the football last night.
I didn't. I was on the computer, so I had the flash scores up. But I'm actually in work for the final, so I don't see it either. But no, let's hope they win.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was that they played really well yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but they're leaving it to the last minute of the game every time. And
I can understand why Ollie Watkins didn't get on before, because he's been doing that all season for Villa.
Yeah, no, but Garth Southgate has his favourites.
Yeah.
So
you got it right. Leather Tuscadero.
Oh, not Tuscadero. Near enough. I said Tuscadale, but you know, something like that.
Yeah, 7 episodes.
Oh, there's a thing. So you've had an invitation. There you are, Richard.
Me, you, myself, and it should have been number ones of the 90s. But when I'm in.
Yeah, I'll sort it out with Simon and then will let you know.
Yeah. There was one you were talking about with Simon, and I can't remember what it was, but I'm definitely in for it.
Yeah, I've passed on. I've spoke to Simon this week, so yeah, so we're in for that as well. So.
All right, yes, because I've had a look at that as well.
Oh,
I have to ask you one question about the Olympics that's starting. Yeah. Was the Olympics in 2020 or 2021? Because
2021. So Yeah, we've had to because I couldn't
because of COVID.
Because of older COVID. There you go. We got the thumbs up.
Great.
I've just had a thought. Iain, did you say that Simon wanted to do something for the rabbit hole? Was he putting in an entry?
I don't know. I can't remember if I've asked him or not. I lose track of time. I will talk to him. I'm sure I'll be speaking to him. Yes.
Evening, Alan. Anyways, well, Simon's in chat. Simon, if you want to put an entry into the rabbit hole, it's 3 albums that you would like to pick. We'll do a pick, and it's somebody has to listen to either one or any of the 3, and then come back after a fortnight and tell us what they thought of it.
Also, I'm just putting a message for Dave. Sportsman yourself. I can't do 2 things.
Hang on, is he going to
Oh,
come up?
yeah, was the weather in Newcastle as good as it was in Coleraine today?
It started absolutely gorgeous, then it clouded over, and sort of it got chilly, and then I was showing Iain just before we came on air. Sun's out again, it's split the sidewalk.
Yeah, very similar to here. Yesterday was rotten. Yesterday was pouring all day.
The last 2 days, it hasn't stopped raining down here.
Yeah. Hi, Alan.
Yeah, you're welcome, Alan, for the no problem doing the top 10. Good top 10. I can't believe my mate, I did it as an impromptu one.
Oh, Neil,
very popular. But his number 1 was Middle of the Road, Chirpy, Chirpy, Cheep, Cheep.
Yeah, I remember that song. That was really, really popular. I can remember kids at school singing it.
Do you remember any of the other singles, though? Because there's one that's better than Chirpy, Chirpy, Cheep, Cheep, and that was Soleil. Soleil, Soleil.
Soleil, Soleil, yeah. Oh, I've forgotten about that.
Soleil, 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 Soleil. Don't let me sing.
No, we'll lose. We've only got 13. We'll lose everybody.
Oh, yes, definitely. Hot pants.
Hot pants, yes.
Sally Carr was the blonde girl with the hot pants.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I was surprised in that one. I totally forgot about that. That's like John Conger's record. I can't even remember what it was called now. Hold on. I've got the book in.
All right. You are, Simon. Okay. Yeah, he's answered.
Yeah. I can't remember, but I've forgotten all about that one.
I think Chirpy, Chirpy, Cheep, Cheep was a hit in the States, a big hit, but it wasn't Middle of the Road. It was some other group. It's a little bit like Billy Don't Be a Hero was a big hit, number 1 hit in America, but not by Paper Lace. And then Paper Lace had a huge hit in America with The Night Chicago Died. But funny enough, it wasn't Paper Lace that had the hit with Billy Don't Be a Hero.
I've come across, talking to them sort of bands, I've come across this week on YouTube, and it said Smokey Reunion.
How can you?
Well, it was obviously before Perry died.
Yeah.
And it was done in Germany.
You see, Smokey were very successful after Chris Norman left as well. Maybe not chart-wise, but in the European circuit, they were really successful. And then Alan Barton, he died. He was the one that was in Black Lace. Yeah. He did Agaboo, and then he became... I was shocked when I first saw him singing with Smokey. I thought, what on earth? That's the guy from Black Lace. Then he died. Now, the fact is, Alan Barton was recommended by Chris Norman to sing because Chris Norman wanted to go solo. But then, after he died, some other singer came along, and there was a guy with a big Mexican mustache, and they started wearing cowboy hats and all the rest, and I just wasn't interested. So when you say Smokey reunion. It's a little bit like Fleetwood Mac. Which Fleetwood Mac? Which Smokey?
Yeah. Chirpy, chirpy, cheap, cheap. Lally Stott, 1970.
What number did it get to? Do you know?
92.
Oh, it wasn't a big hit then.
No, but it middle of the road, didn't chart.
Didn't chart, right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, not in the States. It's a hit in the UK. Apparently, it got a boost from Tony Blackburn. He gave it a push.
It's a good little bubble gum, but it's good.
Yeah, it was
Even
fun.
Jason, thank you very much for that surprise.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah, I saw
that status quo single in a charity shop, and I mean, normally I would touch it with the barge pole, mate, but I knew someone who would. So
yeah, the B side is actually better.
No, it's not.
It's that one, the redone version of "Can't Give You More," and the B side is called "Dead in the Water." But I've had this on a few times.
Yeah.
Very loud.
It's good enough.
Yeah. No, Jason was saying he doesn't have anything to show tonight.
That's all right.
Doesn't matter, Jason. You still come up.
Anyway, no doubt Richard's got something to show.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Do you want me to go ahead?
Yeah, you kick off.
I mean, his first time back, and he gets the graveyard shift. I mean, good man.
I get early bird shift.
Well, this is it. Everybody else calls it the graveyard shift. You give the early bird.
That's normally the last one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dead of night when everyone's lost interest. You know?
I've done some graveyard shifts in my time. Proper graveyard shifts.
Yeah, I mean,
oh God, yes. Yeah, 11 till 8 a.m. Anyway, let's put him up. Off you go.
Okay, right. I found this actually quite difficult because trying to think of memories of buying singles, but this is how I've done it. There's 10 here altogether, but I'm going to put them in little groups and talk about the little group. Okay. So the first little group is this one here, which is the Congregation Softly Whispering I Love You from the end of 1971. Brand New Key by Melanie, which is the start of 1972. And Morning Has Broken by Cat Stevens, which is also the start of 72. And guess what? Those were the first 3 singles I ever got. Now, I didn't go down to the shop and buy them because I was only 6 years old, but they were the ones that were bought for me. And I think my mother had something to do with the fact that it was Morning Is Broken and Whispering I Love You, because they're very choral and it's the sort of thing my mum would have liked. Now, I can't remember which came first. Now, it's easy to say, Softly Whispering I Love You came first because it's the end of 71, but they were more or less in the charts at the same time, and singles stayed in the charts more than 2 or 3 weeks, so they're probably in for about 12 weeks. So I'm thinking it was the Congregation first, and then I'm thinking Morning Is Broken was second. And a little story about that, I can actually remember her giving this to me, and I put it on the old radiogram. Unfortunately, I was 6 years old. I was so excited, I peed myself. And then
you should see Michael's face.
My mother was not happy at all because I was big boy then. I was 6, but I was so excited and just peed out. So I remember that, and I then remember Brand New Key. And this, I think, is an American copy because whenever I got these 3 are the exact singles I got. I remember I had the little black spindle in there as well. And I think the UK versions of Buddha was just a black label. So I think that's actually the American version. Next one, we're going into 73 after June, before the Christmas 73. And I do actually remember buying these. I had The Groover by T-Rex. That was my first T-Rex single. But my second T-Rex single I found in a cheapo box for 10p in a store or a shop called Manchester and Midlands. And I think they were more or less like a radio rentals type store that did various singles as well. And I found two singles, and one was Solid Gold Easy Action, which came out before The Groover. In fact, it was before 20th Century Boy. So this came out at the start of 72, but it didn't get into a very small collection until near the end of 73. And the other one was Elton John's Daniel, which also had been out at the start of the year and didn't get in. And I remember them either being 10p each or two for 10p. I'm not 100% sure. I was only 7, so I'm forgiven for that.
You got a bargain,
So
Rick.
I got a bargain indeed. And both brilliant singles with brilliant B-sides. Born to Boogie being the B-side of Solid Gold Easy Action, and Skyline Pigeon being the B-side of Daniel. Okay, fast forward 10 years to near the end of 1983. And this I saw on Top of the Pops. And I thought, Thursday night, after school, tomorrow, I'm going down to get this. And I remember going down, buying it in Woolworths. And it's this charming man. Absolutely brilliant single. It's one of the best singles ever released, in fact, of the 80s. Love it to death. And then whenever my brother got married in 1991, he actually got the DJ to play this for me, on the wedding night, at the hotel. And I remember dancing away to this. That's absolutely brilliant. Okay, the next section then is two more sections left, which gives two singles in each section. We'll do this one first, actually. And this is singles that I loved at the time, but never bought or couldn't find. And it took me absolute years to get them. And one is from 1986, and it took me 3 years to find it. And it was this one here, Lick the Tins, Can't Help Falling in Love, where they do the cover of the Elvis song. I remember hearing this all the time, and I knew it was from the film Some Kind of Wonderful, and I wasn't going to buy that full album for the one song. And whenever I was working in Jersey in 89, and the summer of 89, in St. Helier in Jersey as a barman, they had a record shop called Record and Exchange, or something like that. And it was absolutely brilliant. I got so much stuff in there to take home with me, and I got most of my Nick Lowe albums in there. And I saw this here, and I thought, yep, happy days. This is fantastic. And the other one is a 12-inch single, and it's also from a film. And this one here is from National Lampoon's Vacation, and I'd never seen the single. I had gone into the record shop and asked, can you order this for me? Now, this is in the sort of mid to late 80s, and nobody could. In the old days, the record stores have these big books where they look through to see if things were still available and all the rest of it. Bigger, 20 times the size of a telephone directory. And I said, no, deleted. I wrote about the soundtrack to the film. No, deleted. So this is pre-internet days. And finally, I was buying a lot of record collectors at that time and looking, at the end of the record collectors for the auctions and the sales and so forth. And I found this promo copy in 1993 for £11, and I bought it. And it's Lindsay Buckingham, Holiday Road.
Hey!
Oh, wow.
So that came about 2-3 weeks later. Sent off my check, and it's always dodgy sending off a check to a record shop. You didn't know if you're going to see it again or the actual product. But yeah, loved it. And then the last two are two that I bought that are probably the most valuable in my collection, and I'm talking LPs as well here. One is 1983, and I picked it up for 50p in the cheapo box in our local record shop called Sounds Fantastic, which is long gone. Kate Bush, Night of the Swallow. Now, This here is an Irish-only single, so the guys obviously got this from the Republic of Ireland and got a shipment of about 6 or 7 of them. None of them sold. I wish I'd bought every single one of them because this one is expensive. Now you're talking 200 quid for this wee thing, and I bought it in 1983. And the next one I knew would become a bit of a rarity, and it's my favourite single, and it is Morrissey and Certain People I Know. And this goes back to the Solid Gold Easy Action. It's a similar type sleeve.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
The reason,
very nice.
the reason why this is done in the mock T-Rex sleeve is because the riff of Certain People I Know is lifted from Ride a White Swan, the T-Rex song. And I saw this in, again, Record Collector in 1992 for £10. And in 1992, I had no money. I had like about 15 quid in my bank account. I thought, I want it. I don't care. I want it. And I bought it. And the B-side of this is brilliant as well. It's Jack the Ripper. And this has gone up to around that £200 mark as well. So those are my 2 expensive items. So that is my 10 single memories.
That's excellent ones there. So this is what we've got. We've got Michael and Stevie.
Hello, testing. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, it's the vinyl cupboard on tour.
yeah.
I'm currently been held hostage at my elderly mother's house. So I've locked the door and I'm in the conservatory. So if you hear a banging, it'll be my mother trying to force the door open, but she's locked in. So.
What are you
Anyway,
doing, Jason?
Before we go on, love the video you put out and love the little montage at the end.
Oh, well, thank you, chat. Apologies, I didn't consult people about using various footage.
No,
yeah,
it was an honour to be in that.
It was a case study of something or other. I'm not sure if it worked. But...
And good morning, Japan.
Thank you.
Ohio gozaimasu.
A frog in my throat. Good morning, everybody.
I've got an ulcer. With the wounded today. Anyway, I've got a tongue ulcer right at the back of my tongue.
A canker sore is how we refer to it.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yes. And Richard, for the first time, you and I.
Yes.
On
No,
stage.
Scott, actually. I think we've been on before, but normally when you come on, I bugger off, but I don't need to bugger off.
I thought you'd be gone by now, Richard.
So I'm staying on.
Anyway, I'm going to do mine while my tongue's still in good order. So,
well, you're still compos mentis, okay.
Yes. Well, I've split it. I've done 5 12 inches and 5 singles. So I'm going to start off with the.
You mean they're all singles? You mean 5 7 inches?
Oh, yeah. The drugs! Yay! Yeah, I'm on a huge dose of antibiotic at the moment. Right, my first one. Now, this is a band.
Is that for herpes?
This is a band from Australia. Now, I discovered them when I went to see Kiss on the Crazy Nights tour. And they're just a boogie band. And this is their single at the time, Black Leather. And I loved it. It's just good old boogie. Great little band. And the day after, I went down to my local record shop and I walked in and I says to the guy, I said, have you heard of a band called Kings of the Sun? And he went, yeah. I've never heard of them. I haven't put the record out yet. I've only got 3. I said, I want one. What? I said, I saw them last night. So what he did, he says, well, I'll get it, I'll put it on. And he says, boy, these kick ass. And I love it. I did have it on cassette, the album. It's just a great album. I have done a video on this band, and this is their song Black Leather, and it's got 2 songs from their debut album Bad Love and Vicious Delicious, which is quite.
Oh,
You jammy! I won't say it's not. Oh, you bugger.
That can't be worth any money.
Oh, well, this must be worth it. It's great. Okay, my next one.
$2.99.
Yes. My next one is Lorna Branigan's Self Control.
Oh yeah.
Now, Richard will know the story. We was talking about her on Saturday. My first girlfriend, and we loved.
You went out with Laura Branigan.
I was waiting for someone to say that.
Oh, I wish I had Stevie, but we loved this, and we remember us going to town and going to buy this. We both brought a copy of it each, and I love this song, and it just brings back fond memories of that time. So fun times, but just left school. Thought I was something, I'm a working man now.
That must have been early 80s, wasn't it?
1984 this was.
Oh, right, it was late as that.
Yeah, about 84, I think. I don't know if I'm sure it was about 84.
So it took you about 5 years to get a girlfriend after school then?
So that is and I still love that today, and I have got the album as well somewhere. Okay, of course we're going to have Marillion.
Oh my god! Where's my bingo card? Hang on.
Yep.
Now, this has got some. This is the first time I ever heard this. Was on the Friday Rock Show with a music vendor, Tommy Vance, and he played this Market Square Heroes. And he says, a bit later, I will play the B-side of the 12-inch. And I was mesmerised by it because it reminded me so much of Supper's Ready. And the B-side of this is the fantastic Grendel.
Reminding you of Supper's Ready is not necessarily a good thing.
Grendel is actually based on the Beowulf character as Grendel leaves his mossy home. Absolutely wonderful. And 3 boats down from the Candy. We can't talk about that because it's quite you wouldn't get away with it these days. I might tell you all that later. But that is the first thing I ever brought by Marillion.
Wow. Is that the first single, or is that
the very first? The very first single.
What's it called again?
Right.
Market Square Heroes.
So how many years until Kaylee and things like
this came out? I think this is 82.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1982. This came out.
Right.
So I've had this a long time, and it's very, very precious to me.
Yeah. Very good.
The song that got me into the band.
Yeah. Genesis, but in the 80s.
That's correct.
Yes. This one, as you can see, it's a limited edition.
Yeah.
Which is number 1303, and it is Knocking at Your Back Door. And,
All right.
Yeah, you went there, isn't there?
Yeah. And Perfect Strangers. Now, this was the greatest day in rock history when these 5 chaps got back together.
You should have shown this one right after you showed the first one, which was entitled Black Leather.
Yeah. And on the B side,
don't bring the tone down, Michael.
There's an interview with all the band at the time, and I don't know. I mean, has anyone else got a copy of this?
No, of course not.
I don't know how many. I don't know how many copies of this there is, but mine, as you can see,
Yeah.
But by a strange quirk, I haven't got that record.
No, but I do love that. And my last 12-inch I'm going to show today, this one goes back to my 21st birthday. Now, this was riding high in the charts when on my birthday, and it's Def Leppard's.
Hey!
And it's just brings back so many good memories of my birthday, my 21st birthday. And I just love this. I love this song. I mean, I love the picture on the back. And the song on the back is Tear It Down, which is an absolutely orchestral.
Is that the Spoon Factory where they formed?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
In Sheffield.
Yep.
Yep. So, yeah, I have not. Do you know what? I brought this when it come out, and I've never seen it at any record fairs or anything.
No, I've never seen that ever.
Oh,
no. So, yeah.
That's good.
Let's move on to the 7 inches now. Now, the first one, me and my friend loved this. We saw it on Top of the Pops. We went and brought it, and I got bonus points because he got a ordinary paper cover and I got the picture cover.
Yeah, I got
Two
that.
by Army, Our Friends Electric, with We're So Fragile on the B-side, which is a pretty good track as well. Now, I
Does
brought
Nick have that one?
I bet he does.
Yeah. Bound to. On the Beggar's Banquet. And he was most peed off that I got it in a picture. And he didn't. And he still reaps me about it today. He's still looking for it. I said, well, go to a record fair, you'll find it. Okay, next one is going back to when I was starting really getting into my music. Just in case. Motorhead. Better than the studio version. This is the version that's on the No Sleep Till Hammersmith. Recorded live in England in 1981. And of course, it is on the bronze. And the B-side is a live version of Over the Top. So that is just...
What is the bronze, Ian? Just before you drew it, what is the bronze? What's the reference?
Bronze was a heavy metal label that signed all. I think Uriah Heep were on there for a little while as well. It's where all the metal bands went back in the 80s. But that is just, and I've had that since day one as well. Now the next one is from Status Quo, and it's this EP. Now, it took me a long time to get this. I didn't buy it when it came out, but and I didn't exist, and I found it in 1982 at one of the first record fairs I ever went to, and I had to pay a lot of money for it.
Come on, how much did you pay?
£5, but 1982.
Wow.
That's a lot of money in 82.
You could have got section back then for that.
I know, but it's got Roll Over Lay Down, a live but meaty version, and on the B side we have Gerundula or Gertendula, however you want to pronounce it. It's Gertendula, and it's got Steamhammer's Junior's Wailing on it, which used to open their shows. So I do love that song. Got two more. Now, this one is my little friend from Detroit. And Richard will know what one that is.
Devil Get Drive?
Yep. It's a new cover because the other one got a bit thing, but that is an original copy of Devil Gate Drive on the Rack label.
Yeah.
No, I love that song. As you know, it appears in our top 10s with Richard. It's nearly number 1, number 2, number 3. It's not far out the thing. And my last one is from one of my favourite glam rock band of all time. Came out in 1981. And it's the first thing we'd heard from them for a long time that was good.
We'll Bring the House Down.
We'll bring the house down and hold on to your hats on the B-side. Absolutely mega song. This is its original sleeve, believe it or not.
It's not Iain, because I have one with a different sleeve, with a die cut sleeve.
Oh, smart.
So is it on Tudor?
It's on the cheapskate label.
Cheapskate.
Yeah, you're gonna
Right.
remove that now. It's not special anymore.
It's special to me because it's a brilliant song, and I thought, wow, the band are back.
Yeah.
And I just love it. I love the line with all them green smells,
They were certainly back for one single.
but worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. So there we go. There's my 10 single memories.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I do need a drink now.
Evening, Andy.
I have to
Hi,
say,
Jason.
nobody applauded me when I showed my singles.
Oh, sorry.
Not that's really
Sorry, Rick. I was mesmerised.
Yeah,
Absolutely
you're right. It
mesmerised.
wasn't that good.
Yeah.
oh, look, at least you're
Oh,
on.
good evening, Martin.
No, Richard, you said stuff I could relate to.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I was very, very young. Though. These are my really first time buys.
Anyway, who would like to go next?
So I go next because I was.
Is it Mike
Yes.
from Leeds? But I'll go through
Can
for
you do
Michael
that?
because my blood sugar usually drops if I have to go after Michael. Yeah.
Oh,
Can
come
you do
on.
it, Ian? I'm looking at
Come on,
something.
be nice to each other.
Okay. Right. Okay. So we'll go down to that one there and do.
Right, okay, folks. So yeah, this was a little bit difficult because I thought, well, I like to have a sort of little bit of a story behind sort of each one. So anyway, first one was quite easy, and it's this. I'm the Urban Spaceman.
Right, yeah.
The Doodah Band with Canyons of Your Mind,
Bonzo.
the B side, which
Absolutely
actually
brilliant.
prefer. I think that's about a song. And when I was about 8 years old, I got my first record player. And it was one of those suitcase things. It was a Fidelity, and it was Dayglow Orange.
Oh.
And I got it for my birthday. And with my birthday money, I went out and bought a single, and this was it. So this was the first single that I actually bought with my money. So that's it. So this is how it all started. Right. Next one up. It's T-Rex, and it's Metal Guru.
Yes.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
my favourites.
It's one of my favourites too. But the reason I'm showing it is that I can remember buying this and getting into an awful lot of trouble as a result. Because
shoplifting.
No, nothing as bad as that. But yeah, so at school in the morning when this was just out, that me and my mates decided, well, at lunchtime we're going to town and we'll buy some records.
We'll nick some records.
And this is what I bought. So then afterwards, instead of going back to school and having, I think it was double woodwork that afternoon, so well worth missing anyway. So we decided to go to my mate's house and play the records that we had. And this was mine. And then obviously sort of like next day at school, you have to face the music, but who cares, eh? So that was me bunking off school to listen to the T-Rex.
That's got to be worth double woodwork.
Any day. A whole week's worth of woodwork. Yeah. Right. So this one, and it's sweet and it's blockbuster, but it could have been sort of any number of sort of singles around this time.
Does anyone know the way?
What this sort of reminds me of is, do you remember the Radio 1 Roadshow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, every summer, you know, and they for a few weeks they travel around various seaside resorts, and they always used to do Eastbourne, where I lived, and there's a sort of old Napoleonic fortress called the Wish Tower, and it's got sort of like sloping lawns in front of it, and they always used to set up there, and this kind of reminds me, because this was great, you know, when you're about sort of, you know, 13, 14 years old, and, you know, you get this sort of Radio 1 roadshow comes to town, and it was really great, and I used to always really look forward to it. So, you know,
can you remember the DJ?
It was Simon Bates.
Oh dear Lord!
I know, but you know, I mean, if you look at, you know, what was available around that time.
Well, when I saw mine at Great Yarmouth, I had Noel Edmonds.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, I've been to a few, but I think we had Simon Bates a couple of times. Peter Powell we had as well. I remember seeing him.
I've been to a Simon Mayo one.
Yeah. I don't think I saw Simon Mayo, but that was it. But it just sort of like, you know, it's just a sort of memory really of sort of like when you're first getting into music and everything and with your mates. Right. This one, right, there you go, Wizard. See my baby Jive.
Brilliant.
Now,
Brilliant.
This, the memory attached to this is that I was performing in a school play when this came out, and there's my girlfriend at the time, Katie. She was performing as well. And on the sort of first, all right.
We have Katie is joining us.
Come on. You know what I mean. You probably do know what I mean. Right. Enough said. You know, I'm just thinking, aren't I?
Say no more.
Anyway, so on the first night, she gave me this, and she said, it's a little present for you. It's to wish you good luck. And, you know, I opened it up and, this is really nice. She knew that I liked it. But then she said, what have you got for me? Yeah. And you know the answer to that, don't you? Yeah. Well, so I said to her, oh no, I left it at home. And which was a complete lie, of course. And then I promptly forgot about it, but she didn't. And a couple of days later, she said, "Oh, have you got that present for me?"
Oh, dear.
And I kind of had to admit that I didn't. And she was soon to be my ex-girlfriend. So there you go.
Happens.
Well, I've still got the single, haven't I?
Yeah, you got a record out of it.
Yes, I was up on the deal.
Well, we reached out to Katie, and we have her backstage. She's going to be coming on camera to fake you into
Jerry.
I know. And anyway, I know Caroline doesn't watch these videos anyway. But in case she does, I thought about a redress of balance. This is one that Caroline, my wife, she gave to me. This is a present. Peter Tosh and Mick Jagger there.
Lovely.
You've got to walk, don't look back from about 1978, I think. And
record of getting singles out of women.
Yeah. There you go. It's on the Rolling Stones label. So there you go. So that was that. Right, what's up next? Oh yeah, I thought I'd show this because this is Australian punk band. It's the Saints, and it's This Perfect Day. And the reason I'm showing it is that this is probably my all-time favourite punk single. I think it's absolutely marvellous.
Mm.
The Saints were real sort of trailblazers of punk rock. And so that was. Yeah. Yeah, it's plausibly did either. Yeah. So
wait for Michael Jackson to pop up doing Billie Jean.
I'll play. Right. Next up, I wish I'd started this. Next up, Ian Jury. What a waste!
Ah, brilliant!
Brilliant song.
My favourite Ian Jury single, and of course it's on the Stiff label, but it's a sort of the Blockhead version. And the reason I'm showing this is that I was thinking, what are the sort of best gigs I've ever been to, and I saw Ian Jury about sort of 3 or 4 times in quite quick succession, from about sort of 77 up to about 80, and he was absolutely brilliant every time. So there you go. That's Ian Jury. What a waste. Right, a couple more to go. Right, this one, I've shown this before. It's Yard Act. And it's a record store day thing. And I was really pleased to get this. It's got Tiny Dance on the B-side, their collaboration with Elton John. And James Smith was in Jumbo Records on Record Store Day, and he was signing the singles. So he signed it and gave it back to me, and he said, I hope you don't mind, because he put to Mike, Love With All My Heart from Elton John.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's it. And I thought, oh, that's nice. And I didn't mind at all. I think that's that. And then the very last, and this is a single from 2016, and it's called Drug Bragging. It's by the brilliant Lovely Eggs, and they'd sort of passed me by really up until that point, and I bought the single because I love the cover, and and I've been in love with this band ever since. So
their covers are all really good, though, aren't they, Mike? They've never. That's one thing about that band is their covers. Yeah.
Casey Raymond is a guy that does all their covers, and they're all sort of like brilliant, sort of comic book psychedelia, aren't they? So there you go. So that's mine.
Very good.
Well done. Thank you. Great song stuff in there. You saying about when you brought that T-Rex, I remember when Status Quo announced their End of the Road tour.
Yeah.
We were still in our last bit of our sixth form, and 7 of us went to go down to Northampton bus station. That's where they used to do the National Express tickets, and we stood there from 7:30 in the morning until it opened up at 9. And we got them. We just strolled into school, and our tutor said, "Where you been?" "We've been getting Quo tickets." And he looked round. He says, "Normally, I'd have to severely reprimand you, but I'm not going." She says, "Because," I says, "you would probably see my daughter in the queue getting my ticket."
There you go.
So we got away with that one.
Yeah, well done.
You were a truant, Ian.
I was wagging it, as we used to call it.
Yeah.
Over here, it's called wag, and we used to have the wag man, didn't we?
Yeah.
None of this fine stuff. It was just someone saying. Yeah, we knew who the wag man was. Anyway, that's for another story. So,
who wants to go next?
Shall I go next? Because I think my light might be fading. So
yes, we'll let you go next. As you're getting rather dark there.
Right. I've got a couple of lights on, but I can manage. Right. So I've had my hearing fixed. So I'm all up. We've got 10 of the best. Okay. So the first one is Lyme Regis. So it's 2,000. I've got a Viaduct. Special Devon one. I've got the Devon jigsaw.
Wow.
I'm surrounded by bloody jigsaws here, I tell you. Right. Okay. So I'm in. Oh, hang on. That's fallen down. So I'm near Wimborne in Dorset, And if you go at the end of the road and you go into Wimborne, that's when I first bumped into Robert Fripp in the middle of Wimborne. And on the way, there is a little parade of shops. And there used to be a music shop with some vinyl. And they used to get sort of quite decent vinyl. So I could actually walk with my friend to the end of the road and up to there, and we'd check out the records. So the 10 I've chosen, not necessarily in order. Okay, I'll just put it like that. So the first one I'm going to choose is one that I saw there. It was the green cover. And obviously I was into the Jam and got into Who and all the mod revival and stuff like that. But this is a record that really changed, absolutely changed my my sort of musical direction, as it were. So this is New Order. And this is well, it's a double A-side, really. It's Everything's Gone Green and Procession. And to this day, Procession is probably still one of my all-time favorite top 10, top 5 records ever. So that was New Order, Everything's Gone Green. After I heard that, it really sort of sent me right into an indie direction. And I didn't even know, I was a bit out of it, so I didn't really have clue that New Order were actually sort of like the remnants of Joy Division. So then I got Ceremony. I got then sort of backtracked into Joy Division, and so that was my first Joy Division record, and that's the 7-inch Transmission. So those were two very kind of special. So it was backtracking into post-punk and sort of getting into indie in a very significant way. And the girlfriend story, a girlfriend had the yellow cover of that. I had the green, she had the yellow. And I thought I bought a bread. And then when we split up, she wanted the yellow one back. So since that time, I kind of overreacted and tried to get all the colours. And I've still got there's a kind of light blue turquoisey one that I haven't got. Other than that, I've got the full set. So that's that. With that same girlfriend, if you look at the banner on my channel, we were in a flat near sort of the gardens in Bournemouth, and the sun was coming in, and it was coming in on this record, and we had a day out when we took a picture exactly like this picture almost. And so I just took a picture of this near the turntable. So this is Echo and the Bunnymen, The Back of Love. So this reminds me of that relationship and that time. So I just had a simple record deck, and I would buy up the odd single. So it was quite a lovely phase going from sort of after school. It was the first time living alone, sort of independently. So that was sort of fond memories. Echo and the Bunnymen, Back of Love. So developed a love for the Bunnymen. Going back a bit earlier, sort of spreading out with indie after I got the New Order, came across the Chameleons and fell in love with everything the Chameleons did. This is actually quite pricey record. You don't often see this in shreds, and it has the B-side, Less Than Human. Yeah. So again, still very much in love with indie. So gone from sort of quite a sort of predictable young man at that sort of late 70s, early 80s time, fully into indie. But this is kind of still got great guitars and what have you.
Yeah, Stevie, I saw that record at Relics Records in Leeds on Monday.
Right.
And it was one of the ones, it was on the wall, and I think it was 35 quid.
I think it's 35 on Discogs if you want one, 7-inch single. And it's some of the rare as hen's teeth. So and again, that indie period was very significant for me. So I just bought odd ones that have a very significant memory. So this is Tiny Children by The Teardrop Explodes and Rachel Built a Steamboat. So this is an EP. And I remember buying this and thinking, this is the sort of thing I really want to sort of, still quite young, want to get into. So I just went on this sort of indie trajectory. So that's Tiny Children and Rachel Built a Steamboat. I was born near Hereford, so I couldn't not mention one of my favourite bands that come from Hereford, and that's the Pretenders' Talk of the Town. And even though Kid is my favourite song by them, Talk of the Town, in Hereford, apparently there was a cafe called Talk of the Town, but this is about, I think it was named after a cafe where they were living in London, but there was a Hereford cafe as well, so called Talk of the Town. And, you know, so my dad was a building society manager in Hereford, and one of my cousins knew, what's his name, Jill Scott Heron, for the guitarist. So yeah, and my brothers actually played when they were very little. There was a patch of sort of recreational area just outside where we lived in Hereford, and they played football, and I sat and watched the original members of Pretenders play football. So very soft spot for Talk of the Town, because it shows the band there, the Pretenders from Hereford. Another special one, I remember listening to this 1981 and thinking, like OMD, I think they just had Messages, and thinking, you know, we had Jean-Michel Jarre, and thinking synthesizers are coming in. But there was one record I got, and I thought, this is going to change that section of music forever. So I rushed out and bought Depeche Mode New Life. And I don't think I was wrong, because since it kind of, I thought, you know, okay, you had Jean-Michel Jarre, you had OMD, I think came a bit before with Messages, and of course you had Kraftwerk, of course, but this kind of hit the chart. So this is where it's kind of broke that ceiling with very basic synthesizers, tape recorder, and four lads in the pop charts. So getting popular, that's where it broke through. So I thought, this is changing something, you know, and I'm kind of witnessing a bit of history. So I think this single for me was where that kind of change came about. Fast forward to 2012, and I'm starting, after a very long break, to listen to records. I'm doing good stuff on eBay, selling photography, darkroom stuff. So I kept treating myself to records, and I thought, oh, there's some very cheap singles here from a band I used to love and still love. So I started buying them. Now I got 4 copies of My Generation, but I think this one was in the charts on my birthday week. So very fond memories there. So I Can't Explain by The Who. And can anybody say who the session guitarist was on this one? The B-side, Bald-Headed
Was
Woman?
it Jimmy Page?
It was Jimmy Page. We got a bit of Jimmy Page in there as well. So it's kind of fond memories, because I started collecting vinyl and then listening to it, and then started gradually falling in love with things that I used to love a very long time before. And they're very cheap. So I got sort of Creation Records. And then 1981 in school, we camped overnight at Poole Arts Centre. This had just come out not long beforehand. So this was The Who, You Better You Bet. So it's a fond memory, because we were into the Jam, we were into The Who, and we camped overnight. We bought the single, and then we got to see The Who, obviously not with Mooney, but we got to see kind of a second incarnation of it, as it were. Fantastic day. We didn't actually have to queue overnight because there wasn't that many people in the queue. And I thought I would include the last one, my first ever record that I had as a youngster. So this is Jim Chinery.
Oh.
from Mary Poppins, and that's me colouring it in, probably age 6 or something like that. So that's Chim Chimery and Do Re Mi. So thank you very much.
I've got a version of Do Re Mi by Sparks.
Ah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go, Steve. Oh. You should go in that the Better You Bet. That's got memories for me, but they're not good as you know. I was in hospital when that came out, having had a back surgery, and that was always on the radio.
What has You Better You Bet and All the Young Dudes got in common?
Oh I know this, but I can't think of it. You'll have to tell us, Richard.
They both mentioned T-Rex in the lyrics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well done.
Good.
Good trivia.
Oh yes. So it leaves Japan.
Yes, and Stevie, you'll remember like a moment ago you gave a presentation that was interruption free. I'll accept. I will be happy to receive the same treatment during my presentation. So if you need to, mute your mic.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
If you hear my head hitting the table, it's because I'm just.
Does that just apply to Stevie, though?
Yeah.
Yes.
It seems quite directed, doesn't it?
Actually, it might have to apply to all of you because I'm here to request a little dispensation from the panel. What I mean by that is when Iain when the little needle stopped at single memories, I knew I had the memories, but I didn't have the singles. And so my presentation is going to be really big on the show, on the tell, and really light on the show.
It's no problem. Just miss them out. Just do 2 or 3.
It's Joe Biden, isn't it?
So, you all know that I emigrated from the United States to Japan, and I moved from a world of big rooms to a world of really tiny rooms. And not only did I not own any singles before I left the United States, I certainly didn't buy them here. And for a number of reasons, I'm more into LPs. However, there are certain singles, and the challenge of this whole thing was single memories, and that's what I'd like to do. So my presentation begins at who is chuckling? At Rhode Island School
It's not
Design.
me.
In Providence, Rhode Island. And it's an art school, and it is a school where they accept, we're all used to traditional colleges, right? School of Mathematics, School of Engineering. This was not, maybe you have similar schools in the UK, but essentially this was a school where you either were a rich kid or you were a poor kid, but you had to have talent and you had to do certain things to get into the schools. So I entered the school, and my first year I was with around 200 kids from all walks of life who were all very, very talented, but they all had different dreams.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What did you have to do to get into that school then?
I had to do what everybody else had to do. The challenge was 3 different types of drawings and a statement.
Sexual.
No, nothing sexual. And
Right,
so I knew you couldn't do it, but maybe what you want to do right now is mute the mic.
Sure.
Sure. So kids who, there were kids who could draw anything. There was one kid who was doing the cover of Time magazine when he was a freshman, right? He had a freelance job. And you had others who were like, you had kids who were, juvenile delinquents, right? But they're all very, very talented. And so the first year, nobody picks their major, their field of study. So you're all lumped in different groups, different pools. And they worked your asses off. And I don't want to get into the types of projects that you were given, but at night we went to a place called the Tap Room, the RISD Tap Room, and it was above an old above an old church, and they had pitchers of beer, which you get for $5, and peanuts. And what everybody did to let off the pressure of all the intense pressure during the day from classes was dance. And so there are 2 songs that are strongest in my memory from 1975, and they are Fame by David Bowie and Brick by the Dazz Band. And I really wanted to play both those songs, but I knew that I couldn't because of copyright restrictions. But I urge you to think back in your memory about Brick by the Dazz Band very much disco, right? And so that was the whole thing about disco. It was everybody danced, right? It wasn't about the clothing, it was about the dancing. And the next year, you know, after all the dancing was over and we all settled down and tried to decide like who was going to be a girlfriend, who was going to be a boyfriend, there was a song by Boz Scaggs called "We're All Alone" off of his Silk Degrees record, and very sad song, you know, about loneliness. And I bring up that song because my best friend stole my girlfriend at the time, and he then dropped out of school. He was a complete Lothario, and "We're All Alone" is that memory. I got a job, my first job, and it was in a laundry, folding laundry, right? And I did it in a hotel, the Providence Marriott. And at that time, the radio stations played the same songs over and over again. I'm trapped in this basement room with these two lesbians who were funny as hell. And it was "Rich Girl" by Hall & Oates. Every 5 minutes, that song played on the radio. It was sheer torture. That and one of the Fleetwood Mac songs, I forget which one. We then went back dancing to Casey and the Sunshine Band, to "Shake Your Booty."
Go in the kitchen.
Hello, Mum. Hello, Mum. Hello.
Sorry,
Hello from
I
Japan,
wasn't
Mum.
on mute. Sorry.
Hi, Mum. Hi, Mum. Hi, Mum. Okay. We then move on to more Andrea True connection. 1976, former porn actress Andrea True, danced to it all night. Okay. It's 1977, and we're starting to go out to shows in Providence. We go to a place called Lupo's Heartbreak Hotel. There's a band playing of former students of Rhode Island School Design. That band is Talking Heads. They're playing Psycho Killer. Cool. We graduate from school. It's 1979. We all go our separate ways, okay? But before we all go our separate ways, we get together for one last party, listen to music, and we're listening to "Shattered" by the Rolling Stones, which is all about New York City.
Great track.
And a number of us, some of us go to New York City, some of us go to San Francisco, some of us go home and live with our parents for the rest of our lives, but we all went our separate ways. And "Shattered" in New York, I had a very good friend at RISD. His name was Seth. He went straight to New York. He got an apartment at 2nd Avenue and 3rd Street in Hell's Kitchen. And he was from Kansas City, Missouri. His father was in real estate. And Seth rented a tiny 3-room apartment. Yes, Mom, you could have chocolate chip. And he took a hammer and he broke the walls in his apartment all by himself, right? He opened up his apartment with a hammer and he made a beautiful apartment in New York. And he started a career as an illustrator. And this is one of his pieces. He actually became a watch. He did his own line of watches, Seth Jabin.
Oh, cool.
And very, 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 very talented guy. And
did he have any records?
He did not have. Oh, actually, he did have records. He taught me about Johnny Guitar Watson, and he also could sing "Brick" by the Dazz Band with the most incredible facial expressions you'll ever see. He is really probably he would make me laugh harder than you, Stevie, but he would make me laugh till I could barely breathe. Very, very funny guy, but unfortunately,
God knows we need a laugh.
He succumbed to AIDS later on in life in New York. Yeah.
Jesus.
So he's with me. He's with me every day. Really, really, you've never had. When you think back of closest male friends, he's one. Yeah. So a lot of things happened to me. I went to San Francisco, and I was seeing this woman. She was a married woman. And I was a bit of a kept man. And one thing she would do is she'd like to come and visit me the nights that I was on dates with other women. before I went on dates with those other women. So I would say that she had a criminal mind. And one day, one of those girls did me wrong. I mean, really did me wrong. I was scheduled to have a date with her, and I went over to pick her up at her house, and she opens up the door, and she's got like sleep coming down her face, and she wouldn't let me in, and her old boyfriend was there, and I was mortified. So the married gal took me to a movie, and that movie was Some Kind of Wonderful. And in that movie, there was a song that played called "Turn to the Sky" by the March Violets, which I will never forget because when I came back from the movie, the girlfriend showed up and made things all right because as the woman's husband said to me, because he was actually giving me advice, you should have given her boot leather. I moved to Japan, and I'm almost done. 2 more. I met Junko Mitsuya, who was a fashion designer for Issey Miyake, and that song is "Somewhere Down the Crazy River" by Robbie Robertson. Believe it or not, that was a single. And my last song is in 1975 that I did see in a movie called Unzipped, which was a documentary by Isaac Mizrahi. And in that documentary was a song called, and here it is, Happy Sad, my only single.
It's a record.
It is a record. I know, I'm sorry. No. But it's kind of fun. So this is either going to go down in history as Rice's best presentation on Iain stream or Michael's worst presentation on Iain stream. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, that been some pretty bad
it's
ones.
not all the other or somewhere in between, isn't it?
That presentation was so bad, my mother's turned my light off.
And with that, I'd like to thank all of you for indulging me in my.
There's some lovely stories there. There's some lovely stories.
I could have turned and run. Couldn't I, fellas? I could have gone dark and said, made up some excuses, but I made it work. Thank you.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Anyway, good evening, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hello. Well, you have to excuse me. I'm not very well.
Oh dear.
But, I heard.
Very well done, Michael. Sorry.
Yeah. I heard and saw Iain show a record earlier, and that sort of prompted me to get up off of my deathbed.
That one.
Oh no.
Yeah. But I haven't managed to find it in my collection.
Should I take your blood pressure, Nick? Do we need to take your blood pressure?
I feel absolutely lousy. Got a temperature.
Michael hasn't helped.
It's warm. It's warm here, and I'm shivering. Literally shivering.
Oh man.
So I pulled some out what's to hand, although I haven't managed to grab everything I wanted to because it's in a box at the bottom of the pile behind me, and so you get what you get, and that's it. I'll probably go straight back to my bed. I've been looking forward to this one all week. So do you want me to go?
Yeah, go for it. You're big.
Go for it, mate. We're all behind you.
These are in a pile of stuff that's out behind me. One of my favourite Bad Manners songs.
Got no brains.
Hey.
Good track.
It is. It is. Also, Walking in the Sunshine. Absolutely love this one as well.
Oh yeah.
Bad Manners.
I love that cover.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember this from when I was at school.
Hey.
Ah, now there's a good bit of taste.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it was in the charts at the same time, but the only other tune I remember when I was at senior school was Once in a Lifetime, Talking Heads.
Oh yeah.
But I remember this one vividly. I couldn't find the cover version to this one, which I really wanted to. Again, I think it's in a box buried behind me somewhere. That's One Step Beyond by Prince Buster.
Oh,
and it was
nice.
Brilliant.
this particular track, and of course, One Step Beyond by Madness.
Yeah.
It got me into investigating records and songs. And back then, when I got it in 84 or 85, I got this. I had no idea, no concept. I was totally naive about music. I never knew what a cover version was. I'd never heard the term. Of course, I knew people sang other people's songs, mostly from variety shows on television. But a group of us were walking around to a mate's house, and the main talk of the schoolyard and with friends was, "Oh, did you see Madness on television last Saturday morning?" You know, and One Step Beyond. He's seen the video yet? And then a mate of mine coughed up, said, "You know, it's a cover version, don't you?" Like I say, I'd never heard the term before. So that one and the Madness cover got me into sort of seeking out information on such things.
Yeah.
You never had the internet back then. I had to go to the library or speak to second-hand dealers or skinheads about the music, you know. So yeah.
Were there many skinheads working at the library, Nick?
Funnily enough, no.
I've never consulted a skinhead before myself.
Yeah, well, you've got to be brave, Michael. You've got to be brave and get in there.
You must have scored some drugs off many different types of people, Michael.
Yeah, he's a cheeky bugger, isn't he?
Sorry.
Yeah.
This one's rather apt at the minute.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Although I'll be totally honest, I couldn't give a toss if England beat Spain 20-0 in the final. I've been there, seen it, done it, been bitterly disappointed. But this is the only record I've ever heard being played in a pub where everybody in the main bar has been jumping up and down, singing, chanting, screaming, shouting, beer flinging everywhere. And yeah, I was included. I used to come home from the pub on a Friday night stinking of beer and cigarettes and carrying my kebab or my curry back to my bedsit. You know, and hearing this one, I think this is the best football song ever.
It's better than It's Coming Home, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was a good song, that, but after a while, it's like the Pogues and Kirsty MacColl, Fairy Tale in New York. After a while, I was sick to bloody death of hearing it.
But will it ever be Vindaloo?
The Vindaloo's, I've got them on CD single, actually. But yeah, New Order, World in Motion. The only time I've ever seen a pub, the main bar in a pub jumping up, that was Manny's Bar or Watercress Harry's down in Market Street in Kettering. I don't know if you've ever been there, really.
Yeah, I did in the day.
Yeah, it used donkeys years ago. It used to be called the Gaiety. I'm old enough to remember that. My favourite ever Damned tune is actually the B-side of that, and that's Nasty. Of course, it appeared on the Young Ones.
Yes.
And I believe that the Damned were the worst behaved of all the bands that appeared on the Young Ones. They reformed specially, I think, to make the appearance on the show. You'd think Motorhead would be the idiots and that, but apparently Lemmy and Fast Eddie and Phil Taylor and that were totally impeccable, professional, impeccable.
Yeah.
The Damned, I think they went out to celebrate, and it ended up in a brawl or something like that in a local curry house. Captain Sensible got up on the table and started singing Happy Talk, I think.
Oh no.
But yeah, that's what I read.
That's enough to cause a riot, that, isn't it?
Well, it bloody well is. Yeah. Whatever was he thinking of? I don't know. So yeah, Nasty by the Damned, absolutely brilliant. You know, I'm not a vampire. I'm a driving instructor from Johannesburg. This is my favourite punk single ever. Pretty Vacant, the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It is. It is. I absolutely love the video to this promotional video, although I know they're miming, but I don't care. It's the image, the look. It's Johnny Rotten at the start, the way he sort of looks. You think he's there in front of an audience or whatever it is, and he gives them a sort of a nasty sort of snarl, an indignant kind of look.
Yeah, it's sort of like he's telling the audience, I don't give a toss about you.
Yeah. To me, that is punk.
Yeah.
That is punk, and that's my favourite punk single of all time. Always will be. I'm not a fan of the Ramones. Never have been. I thought the Buzzcocks, the British version, were better. Various other American acts I've heard. The only ones I really like from America are Joe Biafra and the boys. I can't remember the names now.
The Dead Kennedys. Please
Yeah.
don't kill us though. Just let us join your live stream, all right, Nick?
So yeah, Pretty Vacant. I've never been one for saying you must have this record in your collection, etc. People say, well, you must have Sgt. Pepper's or Dark Side of the Moon and all that. And well, no, you don't bloody well need to have it. But I will make an exception for this one. The Ruts, Babylon's Burning.
Oh, what a song!
Yeah.
It is one of the greatest punk songs of all time, and it is a must. It is a must for any budding punk collection. Brilliant.
Right.
I don't know how many records I've picked. I just grabbed a load and kept going. My first sort of real memories of hearing music as a toddler was watching programs like this.
Joe 19.
Yeah.
And yeah. Apparently, as a toddler, I used to sort of try and mimic the words to the songs and that, and dance up and down, march up and down the living room. I was only I was a youngster back then when we used to live in Wembley. But my mother used to say that.
That was a popular show in the UK then, right?
Oh, big.
Oh, wasn't it just? Oh, good God.
It's still popular now. It's still popular now with a certain age group.
Yeah. I do have 10-inch singles and 12-inch singles as well, Jerry Anderson and that. But yeah, they're probably my first sort of real moments of music when I was little. The Night, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. My favourite, although this is on the Motown label, this is classed as Northern Soul. Going to be my favourite Northern Soul tune of all time. It is bloody brilliant. And I do recommend people listen to this, or perhaps even buy it. The Night, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Brilliant. Nearly there. The very first soul record I ever owned, Sweet Soul Music, Arthur Connolly. Brilliant track, tune. The very first soul LP I ever owned was the very best of Wilson Pickett. Absolutely loved that one. 3-1, the last one, 3 left. The last one is rather special. Probably the greatest tune ever to appear on a two-tone label. Jerry Dammer's masterpiece. Although it's probably not my favourite by then. This is more reggae than two-tone, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
But it is bloody fantastic, and sums up the mood of the country, I think, perfectly at the time.
It
A lot
does.
of trouble and strife and protest.
A
Yeah.
bit like now.
well, yeah, a bit like now. My favourite two-tone tune track appears on that. This went to number one. Specials, Too Much Too Young. This is all live, but my favourite two-tone track, dance tune, etc., is Guns of Navarone.
I thought you was going to say that. I remember you saying that. You said that before.
Yeah, with Rico Rodriguez on the trombone and Dick Cuffle on the it's either a cornet or a trumpet. I don't know.
You blow it.
yeah, basically. So yeah. I couldn't find Our Friends Electric, but in honour of Michael, I found that. That was to hand. Gary Newman, Cars, one of my favourite songs of all time. Yeah, Our Friends Electric, the very first record I ever purchased, I ever owned. I've still got it. It's somewhere behind me with a load of other Gary Newman stuff. I think it's one of the most important records in British music history. I really do. Synth type music had been around for years, but it never really hit the heady heights with the pop music type audience. In a way, I think it was considered a bit sort of geeky, a bit too futuristic. Music for like university types, especially with synths. And you could buy the instructions to make a synthesizer, but you were more or less considered, a bit geeky, and you had to be an expert in electronics, basically, to build your own synthesizer, and let alone play it, etc. But this is where we've got to thank the BBC. As much as I hate and despise the BBC for what they are, there used to be a section on Top of the Pops where the BBC would pick a record which was languishing at the bottom of the charts. They'd have a meeting, and the DJs and the producers would pick a record out which they thought could do with some help from them, and hopefully give the artist a bit of success. One of the tunes they chose was Our Friends Electric for the Two-Way Army, and the other one they were considering was a song by Simple Minds. But I don't know which one it was, unfortunately. They made the right decision. They went with Our Friends Electric. It went rocketing up the charts, made number one, and it was the key to the door for synth music in this country.
Yeah.
Our Friends Electric opened the door for bands like Ultravox, Human League, etc., to become more popular with the pop music sort of dance type people.
Yeah.
And they call Gary Newman the king of synth, but he isn't really. But he helped it along, and suffered a lot for it as well. But yeah, one of the most important music pop music history here in Britain.
He would
Sorry?
say John Fox. He would say John Fox, but John Fox had
Yeah. There was others before him. Well, like I say, synth music had been around for donkey's years, but it never.
I think
it never hit the heavy heights.
I think the first synth single to get to number one was Chicory Tips, Son of My Father, way back in 1972.
Oh, good, yeah.
That's all synthesizer, and that's a Giorgio Moroder song. And then
What's that one that influenced Jean-Michel Jarre? What was that called? Popcorn or something?
Popcorn.
Yeah.
I've got an album with that on.
So that's it. That's it.
One for you, Nick.
Yeah.
Hello.
Earlier, did you see it?
Right.
Yeah, well done. Yeah.
Earlier, Nick, did you see that photo of the Gary Newman Cars record that Iain showed? Do you have a copy? Do you have that copy?
No, Our Friends Electric.
I've got that. It's in a box behind me with other Gary Gary Newman stuff, but it's probably buried, and I don't feel up to digging. All these were easily to hand.
John Lever, I got that. Anyway,
Yeah.
Jacob's got some.
You mentioned all this, Nick. I mean, it's right, isn't it, that Gary Newman sort of came from nowhere, really. Just all, he kind of burst on the scene, and I can remember thinking, "Wow, this is different."
Well, it was luck, really, his career, because his band were like a punk band, and they went into the studios to finish off an album, and there was this mini Moog in the corner, and he started playing around with it, apparently, and he was totally amazed by the sound this thing was producing, and the rest is history.
Yeah, wasn't it our friend John Peel that said, "And this is Tubeway Army," with another? Did he do a bit of that? I think.
Quite possibly. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I mentioned this on Saturday with Richard about We Are Glass. That was probably his first real synth-driven tracks. The others have got bits of guitar, but that to me was the first pure.
Well, I like I Die, You Die.
Yeah, I do as well.
This record.
Right. Our Friends Electric is it's two songs joined together, basically, and there's no chorus. No chorus at all.
Yeah.
Would you say Devo and Gary Newman were influencing each other at the time? Weren't they around the same time?
I honestly don't know. I would think so, but to be honest, Michael, I can't bloody stand Devo.
Yeah.
Any group that minces around with red plastic flower pots on their head is a bit of a no-no for me.
Yeah, they're very art school, aren't they?
It's an insult to gardeners everywhere, isn't it?
I understand your disdain, Nick.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do believe Jason has found some CD singles you would like to share.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Right, I've got some. Can I do some memories as well for singles that I don't have?
Yeah, you can do it in 10 minutes.
So,
for memories you don't have.
Yeah, you're right. I've got no, not the memories I don't have. The singles I don't have.
So you had a brain injury as well.
No, it's I mean, basically there was some that people know that I've had my eye operations and everything and all the rest of it, and as a result, I had a problem with depression and stuff. So there was one song that got me through, and that was, believe it or not, U2's Stuck in a Moment. And it's just the lyrics resonated with me, and strangely enough, that did help me get through it. Another one I've got is, and I can't really stand the song, but again, resonated with me, was Invisible Touch by Genesis. Because back when I was at college, there was a girl that I had a major crush on. And that was basically the lyrics summed up the situation, because, I don't really know her, I only know her name. So, yeah, that was sort of summed it up, really. Then another one I've got, and I cannot find the record, but I was on the music video for a band called Like a Dog, which was Tony from Terrorvision's project after Terrorvision split up for a bit. And yeah, I'm in the music video for Revelation. So I've got my cans on there singing away. So that's a few there for you. But to do a little bit of a showcase, we have Killing in the Name. Right. Now, what I remember about this was we had a party in our street. There's about 4 or 5 families all got on really well together. And every Christmas we would all have parties and that. And I can't remember whether it was a Christmas party or what. But anyway, there's me, my mate Dan and Matt. And Dan had some of his mates around that I knew reasonably well. And we were all there. And I said, I've got Rate the Rage Against the Machine single upstairs somewhere. And I think I've got it on 7-inch somewhere, but I can't find it. Anyway, we put it on, and I thought it was the edited version as they played on the radio without the swearing. No. So all the parents were there, all the the younger kids were there, and I had to go around apologising afterwards, saying I'm so sorry. But whilst it was on, me and the guys were just giving it some welly, head banging and jumping around the room like loonies. But yeah, I was like, oops, got the wrong.
And all the effing and jeffing.
Exactly. Well, it was the, you know, I won't do what you tell me bit.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
And it was a Christmas number one as well.
Well, yeah, for several years later. Some of these stories you've probably heard before, but I'll go in with them anyway. One of them is Feeder.
Crash.
Cement, yeah. Now, this is a band I got into purely by accident because I was in Pinpoint Records in Eastleigh, unfortunately no longer there. Really, really good shop. And I was looking actually for Filter, and I got the names muddled up because Filter were on the Spawn soundtrack with the Crystal Method called with a song called "Can I Trip Like You Do?" Can you trip like I do? Sorry. And I thought, oh yeah, that must be them. I couldn't remember. I just knew it was the band that became with them. Took it home, listened to it. I thought, well, that's definitely not them, but I bloody like it. So then I went and got the other version, the blue cover, and you know all the albums and all the rest of it, and been into them ever since. Again, another story I've probably told you a million times, but it is Skunk Anansie, Charity. Saw them on the White Room with Mark Radcliffe, yeah, and was absolutely blown away by them. They did this, and I think it was Selling Jesus as well was the other one they did, and just the band just blew me away. I only really watched Stevie Wonder, and I thought, who the hell is Skunk Anansie? But I listened, and I was just mesmerised by Skin's presence and our vocal range and everything. And the band are pretty damn good as well. So, you know, and I've got other memories of them, but that's one of the main ones anyway. Television, Celebrity Hit List. Yeah. This is the song that made me cry. Or close to it. We were at Pennington's and it was supposed to be their last ever gig. Right, and that's the same one that we nearly broke we did break the floor. Then a sprung floor, and we broke it by jumping up and down. Right, a whole bunch of us. The fact that my mate.
That's what we told you about jumping up and down on floors.
I know. Can't help myself.
No, that excitement.
But my mate was 30 odd stone at the time, so that didn't help none. So, but no, this was a song that when they started playing it, I thought, shit, we're never going to see this band. We're never going to see this band play ever again. You know, I didn't get a chance to do that with Skunk because no one knew they were going to split up. But yeah, this was the last ever gig, and yeah, I got quite emotional about it, to say the least. And then lo and behold, a couple of years later, they were back out on tour again. So much for that. Right. This one, what have we got here? I'm just trying to see what this is. Oh, yeah. Saying about Skunk. Right, I saw this band supporting them in, I think it was 1999, and they started playing Muscle Museum. And it is, of course, Muse.
Muse. Yes.
And I bloody love Muscle Museum. I think it's a brilliant song. And I think it was the first song they played on the list. And I thought, that is phenomenal. And, again, another band I've been into pretty much ever since. They're not as good as they used to be, but I'll still buy the albums, give them a listen. They're very different to what they started off as, but they were phenomenal live, and I've never got to see them again since because the tickets are way too expensive. But yeah, so that's that one. And then because I need to give this band more love, it is the Virgin Marys. Right, Cast First Stone is the EP, but again, supporting Skunk Anansie back in 2010. Right, they was a support act, and the first song they played was "Bang Bang Bang." Brilliant song, really, really good. And I wouldn't say with mates, but I'm acquaintances with both Ali and Danny from the band. I did used to speak to Matt, who was in the band, but he left a while back. I've not heard anything from him in years, but really, really great sort of. They sort of got a bit of the Led Zeppelin feel, and yet they put their own spin on it. So old school rock and roll, but they're doing their own thing as well. So that's that. And then I do have one single which I do have distinct memories of, and I actually was able to find, and it's this one.
Ray.
Hey, Stan.
Yeah, well done.
Prince Charming. Yeah.
Prince Charming, yeah. Santa delivers the one with the highwayman on, obviously.
Yeah.
No, this one.
I'm high as a kite.
Yeah, don't worry, mate. It's fine. No, this one, right, it's got really good memories. This is the first song I bought with my own money, right? I'd had other albums that people bought for me and all the rest of it, and kids' albums and all the rest of it. You saw that Bugs Bunny nonsense I had the other week. But no, this one, I bought it in Ireland because we were visiting a family friend. She'd offered us to stay. We stayed there for about a month. And this must have been about September time, something like that. Have I got a lot of echo?
No.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, I can hear echo my end. Okay. Right, anyway, anyway, what I remember is there was me and my sister and my mum's friend's daughter Debbie. She was a fair bit older than us, and we were all jumping around to the song. Put it on the old record player, and my trousers started falling down. So I put my fingers in the loops of my belt and that, pulled them up, and started jigging around, and it looked like I was doing the status quo dance. They were giving it that, and they started joining in. So yeah, that was a really good trip though. Beautiful country, Ireland, and I must have got in the Woolworths in Cork, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, there we go. I've not got 10 records there, but I mean, there's a few there. Sorry, they're all on CD, but it's what I can find.
Yay!
Be sure. Good selection.
Yeah,
Very good selection. Well, I'm going to do the wheel now because I'm starting to feel a bit.
Yeah.
So I'll get the wheel up. We'll see what Rocky wants us to talk about next week.
I'll stay for this, and I'm going back to bed myself.
Yeah,
My
we're all
life
in the wars tonight, haven't we? We're
Well,
all suffering.
I've been
dictated by a.
I've been very lethargic.
Okay, well, I'll write it down in a minute.
My life is dictated by a long-haired dachshund.
Yeah, I know. So all I've added to it is a thing called platter palette.
A what?
What?
A platter palette.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like a
Dave
poo-poo
will tell you
platter,
about that.
like what you get with
Oh,
a Polynesian
God.
poo-poo platter?
And here we
Oh
go.
God!
I'm busy.
In the wheel.
Oh,
Oh, I could do that one.
Not sure what that is.
For you. Well, what is this? This one, let's remove that. Is go through your collection and find albums you think, am I the only one that's got this? Things that you think that no one else got.
Easy peasy.
yeah, you're in your element there, Michael.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I think Michael will win that one.
no, it's not albums nobody else wants. It's
things that you think, will anyone else have that?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do next week.
Well, I'm lucky. I'll be at work.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
The more obscure, the better.
I mean, I don't know how many British ever been on here where you show. For we have our thumbnail. It's time to show what you're going to want for the thumbnail.
right, okay.
Well, hang on, let me take it out and see.
Oh.
Give me a second. See, this is the only record.
I'm going to put 2 up. Get it in the right area. There we go.
Wait a minute. Do it that way. That looks better.
Just waiting for Michael. 3,
Oh, yes.
2, 1. There we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I am going to call it now because I'm not feeling too good myself. But I'll just say.
Can I tell you my idea?
Oh, sorry, Stevie.
Well, you don't have to accept it, right? So I was listening to quite a well-known track. It's a 12-inch, right? And the song transitions to another song, and I thought this is bloody brilliant. So I just had an idea of you know, not necessarily a top 10, maybe just a couple or two or three, the best transitions from one track to another in your collection.
Oh, ooh.
Good. If it's a bad idea, fine. Just
No,
bin it.
that is-
No.
Brilliant.
Going to take a bit of thinking about, but it's great. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Did you hear that, Michael?
I did.
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't
So
wanna know
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
You submit it in writing.
So not necessarily by the same artist. See you later, mate. Get well soon.
Oh, see you, mate.
Yeah, so not necessarily by the same artist, but if you were like, say, you were doing almost like a mix.
Yeah, I was. It has to occur naturally on the record, whether it's an
Right.
album or a
Oh,
single.
see what you mean.
I was listening to a
Segue.
12-inch with
So-
two singles on it, and it just the transition was just
Yeah.
so perfect from one
It's
into
called-
the other. I thought that is superb.
It's called
So segue.
prog rock, Stevie. It's called prog rock.
No, it's not, Michael. No, it's not.
For example, back in the USSR, going into Dear Prudence, that
Yes.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whatever you feel is the best transition from one track to another in your collection.
I can think of one. I can think of a prog one now, and I reckon Michael probably think of the same one.
Yeah, I've got one on the brain. Anyway,
I did
can I- thank
Yeah.
you for everyone tonight. Thank you for Richard being here most of the night. It's always a pleasure having Richard here
Yeah.
when he's not working.
Thank you.
Get well
Lovely
to Nick.
Stevie and Michael doing the tete-a-tete. Me being by. And thank you for putting up with me tonight, because I haven't been
That's right, mate.
on good form. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for watching, and we'll be all back next week.
Okay, thank you to the chat. I couldn't see the chat because I'm just on my
Yeah.
phone.
No,
so.
thank you very much.
Right. See you then. Bye bye.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.